Hello everybody, welcome back to the Lord of Locals channel, and we have a different sort of video today. Due to how popular my Dark World Test Hands video was, we gained, I think we more than doubled our subscriber count over the course of a single video, and we've gone above 100 subscribers, yay! So to celebrate that, I'm just making a silly video with my lovely wife. Say
Wife
hello.
jump scare.
This is my wife, Jordan. She does not play Yu-Gi-Oh! She's played a little bit of Magic, and today I have 6 cards I'm going to show her. This is the classic Yu-Gi-Tube video. I'm going to show her 6 cards, and she's going to tell us whether she thinks they're good or not. I have explained the basic rules, the basic card types, but not much more than that. So without further ado, let's get started. Dear, flip over your first card and read it out. Read it out for the people.
Okay, sorry, that was really bad right away.
Petit Pteranodon.
Petit Pteranodon. It's cute. Dinosaur effect. If this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon one level 4 or higher dinosaur type monster from your deck, but you cannot attack this turn. I think this is a good one.
Okay, why do you think it's a good one?
Because you can get a high level dinosaur.
That's good.
And
Okay.
this is just a little guy.
It is a little guy,
He
yes.
gets a big one. But you can't attack.
Can't attack.
So not the best.
Do you want to do any more thinking, or are you locking in your final answer?
I mean,
That's not to suggest an answer?
I think that's about it.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. Destroyed by a card sent to the graveyard. Yeah. Well, it has to be destroyed, I guess. I think this is fine.
Fine?
I think it's good.
You think it's good?
I think it's great.
Locking in, great.
Locking
Okay.
in, best card ever.
You are basically wrong.
No.
So this
Look at those
card,
eyes.
it has some use in the dinosaur deck. It has a little bit of use, but there are a couple of things going wrong for it. One, dinosaurs are all about attacking. So losing the ability to attack is not what you really want to be seeing. Going first, that doesn't matter, as you know, but if you're trying to go second, and dinosaurs often want to try and break their opponent's board and kill them in one turn, not attacking, not great. Number two, these 2 dinosaurs, they're actually a couple of different ones, often want to be summoning each other. And it's not a level 4 or higher. There's another one called Baby Ceratosaurus that summons level 4 or lower, and that one is good. But Petit Pteranodon, it does summon a big one, but it can't chain the effects together, which means you will only really ever play 1 copy of this, and if that, you usually don't play any of Petit Pteranodon. But it is cute. It is. It and Baby Ceratosaurus are the cutest part of the
Baby
dinosaur.
Ceratosaurus is a cute name.
It is a very cute name.
That's
It's
me.
this-
I'm Baby Ceratosaurus.
It's this little Triceratops with his, like, wearing a bottom of an eggshell as pants. It's really cute.
Okay, moving
All
on.
right, moving on.
Nope. Crystron Halkifibrax.
Halkifibrax. It's the worst translation. It's the worst change of the name from the Japanese game. In the Japanese game, it was Crystron Needlefiber, which is really cool. But
Machine Link effect. 2 monsters, including a tuner. You mentioned
I
tuners.
did mention tuna.
If this card is linked summoned, you can special summon 1 level 3 or lower tuner from your hand or deck in defense position, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. During your opponent's main phase or battle phase, quick effect, you can banish this card. You can banish this card you control. Special summon 1 tuner synchro monster from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. You can only use each effect of Crystal Halkifibrax once per turn.
Quick note: synchros are the white monsters.
Okay.
So, and tuners are the ones that
Yeah.
let you synchro summon. So,
But you can only special 1 level 3 or lower. So it's not a high level. Cannot activate effects this turn. So if you're going second, you're toast. During your opponent's main phase or battle phase, you can banish this card. So, can you not banish this card when you can't use the effects, or does this
it
card...
doesn't let you use the effects of the monster it summons, not itself. So you can, if you're going first, for example, you can go into Halkifibrax, special summon a tuner, pass to your opponent, And then during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, you can then use Halqifibrax effect to summon a Synchro Tuner monster from your extra deck for free.
I mean, I feel like my Soul of Souls, I want to say this is a bad card, but then I feel like when I lock that in, you'll be like, you're on again. So...
We have 6 cards. You can learn about maybe what cards are good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with my soul and say this is a bad one.
You say locking in, it's a bad one.
Locking in Stinker Flop Trash Man.
You are incorrect. You are very incorrect. Crystron Halqifibrax is currently banned because it is so good.
Well, really, that means it's such a bad card because it's useless.
Badly designed, maybe. So, what makes it good is A, special summoning from the deck is very strong in virtually any circumstance. It means you are getting a free resource from your deck that you do not have in your hand, and you haven't used any cards in your hand to do it. So, special summoning from the deck, really good. Tuners, really good. If you have another monster on the field and you've just special summoned that tuner, you can now make a synchro monster from your synchro. So, it opens up plays that you might not have access to. 3, on your opponent's turn, you just get a free extra deck monster. Like, remember, I was telling you how synchro monsters, you have to like add up the levels and tribute 2 monsters. You don't have to do that. You just have to banish this guy, and he has a low attack stat, so he's not doing anything. And you just get a free monster.
Okay.
So, Halqifibrax is banned also because he's helps you do what's called link climbing. So remember, link monsters, you have to sacrifice the monsters to bring it out. But link monsters count as extra monsters based on the number of links they have. So Halqifibrax requires 2 because he's a link 2. If I want to make a link 4, I can sacrifice 4 monsters or 2 link 2s or a 3 and a 1. Stuff like that. So with Halqifibrax, if you can get him out, he special summons another monster, so now you can just go into any link 3. So he helps you do what's called link climbing, in that you can just increase the number of links, and the higher links you go, the faster it is. So Halqifibrax is banned, and he should be banned. They did a thing where they limited him for some reason first. They said, you can only play 1 copy. We're like, we're only playing 1 anyway. But, all right.
Yeah, I can tell him nobody really did at this game.
Well, you never played it, and I explained it to you 5 minutes ago. So.
The Nordic Relic Svalin. It's a trap card. If you control an Aesir monster, you can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. You contribute 1 Nordic monster, then target 1 Aesir monster into your GY.
Graveyard.
And special summon it. You can use only 1 Nordic Relic Svalin effect per turn, and only once that turn.
So that stipulation is a little different from the other ones. That means it has 2 effects, but you only get 1 per turn. So if I activate the search, I can't activate the negate. If I activate the negate, I can't activate the search. But it is a trap card.
I mean, wait. Okay, was it? Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm gonna say this is
Go away, fly.
This is good. Because you can search your deck, and you like to search your deck for things. I know you kids like to do that. And let's see.
This fly is going to be the death of me.
Sorry. Okay, I need to think better. But you'd only use it. Really, you'd really only use this like once a game.
Which effect?
The card. Because if there's only like 1, maybe 2 turns.
Yeah, so you might get one per turn. You might do the search. If you're going first, you might.
And I guess you would use this as a first person. So
right, and it doesn't negate your opponent's stuff. So it is possible to say, look, I'll set this going first.
And it stays on your thing.
Yes, it's a
okay, now I'll say this is good.
Okay, you are correct.
Yay!
Somewhat.
Fireworks.
The trick with this one is I actually would have accepted either answer because it is a good card, but Nordic is not a good archetype. So Svalin is actually one of the craziest cards in the Nordic archetype because that first effect is mainly what you're using. So if you remember, the point of going first, which trap cards are good on, is to stop your opponent from doing something. Saying negate the effects of all monsters your opponent currently controls is really good. Say your opponent has summoned 4 giant monsters with great effects. You just say, no, none of them do anything. That's really good. If you then stop your opponent, you go to your turn, you can now search your deck for anything in the archetype. Insane. This card is really, really good under the understanding that Nordic just isn't very good right now.
Okay.
Nordic doesn't do enough. The Aesir monsters are these big, giant synchro monsters that don't do anything.
Okay, so we got no points for those.
Got 1
Point for that one.
Correct. So, moving on. We have
Fairy Tale Snow. It's a spellcaster effect. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Change it to face-down defense position. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can banish 7 other cards from your hand, field, or graveyard. Special summon this card.
quick note. Monsters that are face down often don't do anything. Their effects aren't active. They can't be used for link or synchro summons. And if it's the turn you've summoned them, you can't flip them face up.
And well, I don't know if I can ask questions now.
Ask a
but
question. I'll determine.
the banishing your cards, is that good? If you need is it like I need a refresher? All these are trash, or is it like?
Well, the banishing is a cost. So it's I have cards in my hand, on my field, or in my graveyard. I'm going to remove them from the game to special summon this from the graveyard.
I see. My heart wants to say bad, but I think I might say good.
You gotta give me a final answer.
Okay, final answer. Because you want to get rid of a guy, and that could get rid of a good threat. But it kind of seems like that's a lot for that. But it does have a higher attack than the other numbers, if that matters. And we haven't really looked at that. But it's not shiny, and I know you like shiny things. So I feel like that means that this isn't that good, and that you would have gotten it shiny if it was good. So I'm going to say stinker flop trash.
You are very incorrect. This was actually, I took it out of its perfect fit sleeve because I didn't want you to know that it was a card I've played with. Fairy Tale Snow is also banned. And it is banned for a
Well, then how do you play it if it's banned?
Well, I used to play it.
Oh.
It used to be banned. So it came out. People realized it was really good. They banned it. Then for some reason, inexplicably, like a year ago, they unbanned it and put it to 1. Everybody put it in their decks and then they banned it again because it's so good. And the main reason it's so good is, do you see any text on there that says you can only use this effect once per turn?
Oh, you're right.
Now, I told you a bit about the strongest deck in the format. What does the strongest deck in the format do? Do you remember?
No.
It takes the top cards of its deck and it flips it over into the graveyard. If this is the top card on your deck and I've just put 5 cards in the graveyard, this activates from the graveyard. It gives me a resource in the graveyard that I can use now. That is also not once per turn. So if like you said, okay, I will banish 7 with Fairy Tale Snow to try and special summon it. I say, okay, I'll use a card to remove to banish Fairy Tale Snow so you can't special summon it. You'll say, okay, I'll banish another 7 in response. So by the time my effect activates, it's already gone. Fairy Tale Snow is very, very good because the effect of flipping your opponent's monster face down is really, really good interaction because face down monsters can't be linked and can't be synchroed, which is really important. And you can just normal summon it. It just says if this card is normal or special summon. If it's stuck in your hand, you can say, okay, I'll normal summon Fairy Tale Snow and flip a guy face down, then maybe link it off for a link monster, banish 7 further down the line, and bring it back.
Okay.
It's what's called an extender, meaning if you've already gone through your plays, you can get it as a free resource. It's interaction with your opponent. It's not once per turn, and you can get into the graveyard really easily, like with the Foolish Burial card I sent you. Fairy Tale Snow is if you've watched any of my previous videos, which you haven't, but if you had, you would see there are a couple deck profiles with Fairy Tale of Snow in it, and every time I say it's in the deck, I immediately follow it up with ban this card, it's too good. So, important things to remember. Interaction with the opponent, good. Not once per turn, good. Free resource. Resource from the graveyard, also good. Any
Okay.
resource that is available, not in the hand, generally pretty good.
So now I can't say I'll win, but I can tie.
You can tie.
This can turn around.
This can turn around. What do we got?
Sunvine Sowing. Special summon one Sunseed monster from your deck, and if you do, take 1,000 damage. If you control no Sunavalon Link monsters, you can only special summon Sunseed Genius Loki
Which is a normal monster.
with this effect. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for plant monsters. If a plant link monster you controlled would be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only activate one Sunvine Sowing per turn. I mean, it sounds all right.
Why does it sound all right?
Because you can. Is it right? It says you can banish this instead of the other card that people would banish.
Right? So it's protection.
Yeah, so that sounds good, but it doesn't like. It also doesn't sound like amazing,
Okay.
but it doesn't sound bad. But it is just once per turn. Pesky, pesky, pesky. And it is only plant monsters. Ooh, I don't know.
What's its... Hang on. You're focusing on the banish to protect effect again. What's its main effect? Like, if I play this, what does it do?
You take damage.
Okay.
Okay,
And what?
and-
Yes, that does happen. What else?
You can special summon Sunseed Genius Loki.
Okay.
Or Sun Avalon monsters.
From where?
Just any Sunseed monster from your deck. So that's fabulous.
I don't know. I just wanted you to read the card. You were very focused on the secondary effect that doesn't do anything when you activate it.
I don't know. I feel like I've lost all hope in this game. Not Yu-Gi-Oh! In my ability to play this game. Oh, but you cannot special summon any other monster that turn.
No. Except what? You can't special
Except
summon.
plant
You can't special summon monsters from the extra deck, which is you can still do from hand, from graveyard deck, but you can't special summon from the extra deck except for what?
Plant monsters.
Plant monsters.
And this is essentially a plant deck, so you'd
Yes.
only want plant monsters anyway. And you got that really fancy shiny one, right? No, that's a fish.
That's
Never
a fish.
mind.
That's my goatee deck. Watch my goatee deck profile.
Link in bio or whatever. I'm gonna. It's not a lot of text on it.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh cards have a lot of text these days. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Ignore the banish from the graveyard
Okay.
effect. It's not relevant. The relevant effect is the
That
special
doesn't
summon
help
from
me.
the deck.
Good.
Okay, you locking in good?
Sure.
You are correct.
Yay!
This is sort of another instance of Nordic Realms Small, where Sunmine Sowing is an insane card. But the archetype used to not be very good. But a couple months back, the European Nationals was won by a guy playing a plant deck.
Bravo.
So,
Bravo.
well done. You identified a couple of things that are very good. One, you're playing a plant deck, so being unable to summon non-plant monsters from the extra deck, that's not a restriction. We don't care. We were summoning plants anyway. Two, remember, special summoning from the deck is very good. Incredibly good. You have 40 cards in your deck. If you have a card that says special summon a monster from your deck, you essentially have 40 cards in your hand. You have 40 cards you can access. So special summoning from the deck is really good. This is a spell card, so you can just, there's no cost to playing it. You don't use your normal summon, you just play it. It is essentially, I get a free special summon of any Sun Avalon card in my deck. Unless it's unless you don't have a Sun Avalon Link monster, and then it's Sunseed Genus Loci. But all the Sun Avalon monsters require Sunseed Genus Loci to summon. So essentially you're summoning the most important card in your deck.
Okay.
This essentially says, your deck centers around one card, Sunseed Genus Loci. Here it is. Here you go. You may have it for free. For a little bit of damage, but for free. So, good card. The archetype is pretty good. It's fallen off a little bit because it was more of a meta call. It was good against a small subset of decks that the guy thought people were going to be playing. Since the format's changed a little, the deck has fallen off, but it's still a valid deck, and this card is insane in it.
Okay. Now for all the marbles.
All the marbles.
The marbles being my pride. Let's go.
Unfortunately, this is also going to have a lot of text.
Chaos Ruler, the chaotic magical dragon. Dragon synchro effect. 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck.
Just means reveal.
And if you do, you can add 1 excavated light or dark monster to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. You can banish 1 light and 1 dark monster from your hand or graveyard except this card. Special summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Chaos Ruler Chaotic Magical Dragon once per turn.
So that means you can use both in one turn, but you only get to use them once. So essentially, that first effect was a little confusing. Essentially, what you're doing is you're taking the top 5 cards, picking a light or dark monster from it, adding it to your hand, and putting the rest in your graveyard.
And then the second part is you banish.
If he's in your graveyard, you can banish any other light or dark monsters, which is this little attribute here, and then you can get him back from the graveyard.
Okay.
Also, he's a synchro monster, so he lives in your extra deck, not in your hand or your deck.
I see. I'm gonna say good.
Okay, what's the
Because
reason?
then you can go through all your top 5 cards, and then you can get a monster, and you like to go through your deck, and you can bring him back again the next turn. But yeah, and he got the high number. The high number made brain go burr.
Unga bunga, high number go burr. Is that your final answer? Good.
I guess so.
You are correct.
Yay!
Chaos Ruler is also a banned card, though I somewhat disagree. I don't think he's Fairy Tale Snow level good. I don't think he should be banned, but regardless. Okay. Let's see if you can recognize the reasons he's good. 1, you get to look at the top 5 cards and pick a card and add it to your hand.
Yeah.
Good resource generation. So you've just spent resources to play him, you then get more resources back. 2, cards in the deck to the graveyard. Good or bad?
Good.
Very good. Putting cards from the deck into the graveyard is generally something you want to be doing. The decks that played Chaos Ruler often played Fairy Tale Snow. So
They're
were like,
married.
what?
Look at her. They're in love.
Big dragon husband.
It's Peach and Bowser. Canon.
Anyway, so in the case of Fairy Tale Snow, for example, if they're monsters that activate in the graveyard, you want them to be in the graveyard. So with Chaos Ruler, you summon Chaos Ruler, you go, okay, reveal the 5. I'll add a different monster to my hand and put Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard. So it's as though I just drew 2 cards, which is really good.
Okay.
In addition, you incorrectly specified an effect. You don't special summon him next turn. You special summon him this turn. It says you can only use each effect once per turn, not you can only use 1 effect per turn. So what you do with Chaos Ruler is you make him, you excavate the top 5, you stick cards in the graveyard, you add cards to your hand. You link him off, say if you have a tuner, you can link him off for Halki Fibrax. And then you've just put 5 cards from your deck into the grave. You probably have a light and a dark in there. You just bring them back for free because cards in the graveyard are meant to be used. A lot of people think that's too strong. A lot of people, and another key note, he doesn't require like a specific tuner. So if you look at some other synchros, the fish synchro, the one you really liked, for example, that one specifically requires a fish tuner. You can't just use any old tuner. Chaos Ruler, you can use any old tuner. So if you have a random psychic tuner and a rock whose levels add up to 8, boom, you can make a Chaos Ruler. He's very generic, which means he can be played in tons of decks. This is one of those cards I was saying that you play in like every extra deck. Mm-hmm. He gives basically everyone resources. Dark and light are the 2 most popular attributes in the game, so everybody is generally going to have light and dark monsters to add to their hand. People are generally going to have light and dark monsters to put in the grave to bring him back, and he comes back and is a free resource. So if you, for example, if you've used resources from your hand, you've spent the monsters, and they go to your graveyard, well, you've already used them, but now they can fuel him as another free resource. That being said, I don't think he's that strong because he does require a bit of setup to get out. There are some decks whose main purpose is to summon Chaos Ruler, but those are not the decks that are problematic. Like, Punk is not a problem. The strongest deck right now, Tyr, which is really, really happy to put cards from his deck into the graveyard, can't really make him. So, like, he wasn't causing any problems. He was just being a strong card for rogue decks, lesser good decks, but he wasn't even that good in them. So I have a heretical opinion. I don't think he should be banned.
Okay, so as a recap, these are the ones that I got right, those ones I got wrong. But this was a bad card, this is a good card, this is a good card. This was either one was right.
We'll call it a bad card.
This is a good one.
This is a good
and
one.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Did I say this was a bad card, or did I say
you
it was
said
a
it
good card?
was? You said it was good, and this was my freebie because it's could be good or bad. It's a very good card, but its archetype is awful. If we'd done this a few months ago, this would have been down here because the card is very good, but the archetype was awful. But somebody proved that the archetype is pretty good.
Okay. There you go. There you have it, folks at home.
Well done. Yell at me in the comments about how I'm wrong about Chaos Ruler should be banned, or how I'm wrong that Fairy Tale Snow should be banned, and I'll just fire back with you're wrong.
About how I'm awesome. Nothing
Jordan
wrong
is awesome.
About that.
If this video gets 500 likes, Jordan will play Yu-Gi-Oh with me. So
they're married.
And with that,
we got a wedding, folks.
Happy 100 subscribers. It's frankly insane to see my subscriber count go up that fast over a single video that I really didn't put that much effort into producing or anything. I'm taking the video on my phone, on my kitchen table, folks, and you have made this small side hobby very rewarding. So, see you all in the next video.